Welcome to episode 2 of In Camp With. Now, if you missed the first episode, hit the link in the top. But today, I'm with the future light heavyweight champion of the world, Mr. Anthony Yarde. Everything he does is either offense, defense, or defense, offense.
I've got no choice but to go to the gym.
A lot of people say they want to be great. A lot of people say they want to be great. You cannot be great without being put in great situations.
Right, and thanks so much for joining us, taking us a time out of your training camp actually. Your fight with Beterbiev, big fight that we got coming up, that's been postponed.
Yes, unfortunately. That's what I got told. That's the news that they come forward with. It was meant to have a date of October 22nd and it was booked for the O2 Arena. It was about to make an announcement and then they come forward saying they got an injury, so it's going to get postponed to, I haven't been told a date yet, but I got told that it's going to probably be towards the early parts of next year.
Right.
Like, me personally, I want to try and fight in between.
You want to get a warm-up fight now, in between this fight now. You looking at being rescheduled in what, January time or something?
I haven't fought since December. I don't really want to be still. Yes, I'm training and stuff, but it's always different fighting. You know, I want to be an active fighter. So this was the only reason I've been inactive is because this was an opportunity. You know, you don't want any injuries or anything like that. But I'm not going to wait over a year to fight. It's not going to benefit me. That's what I don't think anyway. So if they're saying January, then I'm going to be ready for January. But again, we're in September now. We're not even in September yet. We're coming to September. I need to get a fight in, like ASAP.
Like, listen, I want to go back to. It's been a roller coaster over the last few years for you, but I want to go back to 2019 when you boxed Kovalev. For me, was your coming of age fight. It was a fight where I see you grow as a fighter, if I'm totally honest, and that's led you to now this Beterbiev fight and you having a real chance in this one because of that experience. Like, we go back to 2019 and we go back to that 8th round where you was one punch away from taking Kovalev out. He was on proper unshaky legs and you thought, you know what, he's there, he's got it. But then you seemed to blow a gasket and that was down to inexperience really, weren't it? But that was your fight, for me, your coming of age fight.
For me, it was just meant to be that way. When that bell rang, because I went for it, when I heard him, I said to myself, like, even before the fight, I said, at some point in this fight, I'm going to hurt him. And when I do hurt him, I'm going to go for it, because I'm going to Russia. I've seen you can call it the stuff in boxing before, where you go to someone's home ground, go to someone's backyard, you win the fight, but then there's this big controversy of whatever. I don't want to leave it like that. And I said, if I'm going to go to Russia, I'm going there to try and win the fight by knockout. I want to take the belt away. And when it come to the 8th round, I hurt him and I said, this is it. It's go time. It's go time. So I literally put my foot down full throttle and I went for it. Again, if it was meant to be, I would have threw the right hand. Sure. You know, that would have landed and then he would have been out of it. His coach even said to him, if you have another round like that, I'm stopping the fight. Again, I went for it again, the round after round 9. I tried, but then again, that experience, you know, he knew what to do. He just stayed away, kept jabbing. I was walking into jabs because I was desperate to get that knockout. So it's just one of them things.
What made you want to do it, by the way? Like, how did that come about? Because like, it's not something that you sort of grew up thinking, oh, I'm going to be a boxer. It come quite late for you, didn't it? Very late.
It come very late. So I was 18 when I first started training. I had my first fight when I just turned 19.
Wow.
So it was a crazy thing, and I think when I had to fight on TV, that was another thing. I said, you know what? When I started doing the training, I said to myself, the only reason I'm starting this thing is because I need to get to that point where I don't care about if anything goes wrong. I don't care about what anyone says about me or how I'm perceived if things go wrong. What if it goes right? That was my mentality. So I went into it just giving it everything. And again, I always thank God because things could have been different for me. I grew up in Stratford and Forest Gate, and I saw a lot of different outcomes of life. So
is that what drove you into boxing? Is that why you just thought, like, yeah, this could be a good this could be a good get out, if you like.
Definitely, because when you keep seeing things around you, and then you're very close to the people it's happening to, or some people are like passing away, some people are going prison for a long time, in and out, and then you see their lifestyle, and I'm like, this actually ain't me.
Right.
So you're around them, you're only going to be the next one. I used to play football, so I played at a decent level. I played for Tunbridge Wells, and I played for Bishop Stortford, and then I finally got my opportunity. I got a trial game for QPR, and in that game I got injured. And this is why my belief's so strong, because I feel like things happen for a reason. One door closes, and then you got a massive door that opens. So if that was, and this is me being honest with myself, the kind of person I am, if I was playing for Queen's Park Rangers, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I don't like being told what time to get somewhere. I don't like being told what to do. I like to do things on my own accord. And again, even with work rate, I like to train to push myself to the limit. I don't like being told, okay, we're going to do an hour training today, and then tomorrow we got this run, and because what if I don't feel up to it that day? And what if I want to do more? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I've always said to myself, you know what, you get out what you put in. So that's why, from my start of boxing, I've always said there's no one that can outwork me.
When did you recognise, like, was it in the build-up to that Queensbury boxing fight, 2011?
But go back a bit.
No space. Look.
No.
What are you doing, man?
That's right.
That's it. Go back a little bit. Go back a bit.
Oh, that's the knockout itself. There you go. You ready?
Yeah, you nodded.
I'm nodding, yeah. Boom! Oh, boom! That's mad, isn't it? I was wearing the Lonsdale shorts, which I think they were like £4 in Sports Direct.
Yeah, you never even had the kick. Did you have boots?
I think Lonsdale boots as well.
Yeah.
Red and black. They're the ones that gave me the blister.
Yeah.
I got the same blister today from the boots.
Wow.
Mad.
And you had no experience of boxing, so, and that's a big thing, by the way, because like going in there, that one, it's not a bad standard, and it's like sort of semi-pro, isn't it? Like there's no head guards, no vest, small gloves, and you decide to do this. When did you recognise that actually you was, I could cut this, I could be a good boxer? Because you went straight into the amateur game after that, didn't you? Like, so is that the first taste where you felt, I've got a career at this?
Do you know what? It's like when I done the Queensbury, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So I didn't know about making weight.
How did you choose to do it though? Like, what I'm saying is, was it a mate that took you there? How did you?
So again, the guy that owns Box Up Gyms, Stephen Addison. Imagine when I first ever met him, it was a thing where we didn't hit off on the right foot in the beginning, and then it was one of our friends, my friend, we call him Business. He like introduced us, but he introduced us on a thing where we was gonna fight, because he was like, he said that he can beat you up, and he said he can beat you.
Right.
So that's how I met Stephen, and then I was a bit aggressive when I was younger, so the way I approached him was a bit aggressive, and then we kind of like left it, because Stephen's a good guy. Like, he's a very good guy, so he was like, you know what? If you got all that aggression, you should do something with it. Like, I'm gonna go train. There's a guy I train with, Tony Cisse. You should come down. So literally, I went there. I just loved the atmosphere. That's when I first saw. The first day I walked in the gym, I saw Billy Joe Saunders sparring John Ryder.
Wow.
And I said, is this what it is? And I said, alright, cool. If I'm gonna do this, I need to take it seriously, because these guys are getting punched in their face.
Wow.
And then, ever since then, I just gave it my all. I adopted a certain mentality. I went out to Vegas. That's when I met Tunde. I went out to Vegas. I wanted to see the best. Floyd Mayweather spoke about to be the best. I said, I want to see him train. Even if I don't take nothing from him, I want to see how this guy trains, how he prepares and what stuff. And this is when he was going to fight Robert Guerrero. When I saw the work ethic, I said, I feel like I've been working hard. I need to reassess. And you know what I'm saying? I saw like the culture in Vegas. And then when I came back, I saw that I was doing things different from everyone else. And then now we're here.
I want to get into lockdown. You had a couple of fights in lockdown. The first one was against Lyndon Arthur.
No, the first one was Dex
Spellman. And then you have Lyndon Arthur. You come up against Lyndon Arthur. What happened in that fight? Like, because we'll talk about the rematch after, which I covered both your fights. But what happened in that first fight with Lyndon Arthur? Because I know you had a lot of troubles through lockdown, didn't you? You lost your grandfather, both grandparents.
Yes.
It was a tough time for you, wasn't it? How did you mentally overcome that? And
but
because that was tough, and I think that come out in your performance. You saw that in your performance because it was a lackluster performance. But I mean, tell us how you overcome the grief that you went through in lockdown. And did it nearly? I suppose where I'm getting with this question is, was there at any one point you felt I'm going to walk away from boxing, or whatever?
Do you know what it is with me? Yeah, it's because I think the first one to pass was my dad. So when my dad passed away, it was a big shock to everyone. And then about 3 weeks later, his mum died. So that's my grandmum. And surprisingly, that one affected me more. And then I went to see my granddad. Because of everything that was happening, I went to see my granddad. I hadn't seen him in a few years. I went to see him, spent the whole day with him or whatever. A couple of weeks later, he died. He was fine when I saw him.
Wow.
And then
this is through COVID, right?
This is all through COVID. And then that hit home. And then I tried to put on this brave face and say, you know what, lions in a camp, we go through anything. People die every day. You just got to get on with it. Be a professional. You're
trying to motivate yourself for the fight. That's what you're doing, aren't you?
It's not only for the fight. I'm motivating myself for life because everyone around me is crumbling. All the family you're seeing. Every time you walk in a room, you're seeing a family member crying or whatever. Everyone around, you can only imagine. Everyone around me is crumbling. So I'm trying to be that strong person saying, look, I'm going into a fight. Everyone needs to stop sobbing. Everyone needs to get back to work or whatever. But my mind was not there. I was in a gaze. I remember when I was fighting in that fight, training camp, I was trying to keep myself up. I was coming into training, not saying a word. Then the next day I'm bubbly, I'm overly bubbly. Everything's a joke. Yeah. And then when it comes to fight night, I think that even making weight was easy. And when I say making weight was easy, that's not a good thing. I wasn't eating.
Right.
So I was like, my mind just wasn't there. When I was fighting, I felt like I was in a gaze. I don't know what round it was. I kept going to the wrong corner. Go back and watch the fight. I kept going back to the wrong corner. And then again, there's no distraction.
Yeah.
The crowd is a distraction. The noise is adrenaline. All that stuff is something that can go, okay, focus. But when you're just there in the ring and there's no noise and you're hearing the mat, it feels like you're inspiring. When you're sparring and you might look at the ring and say hi.
And you're having a bad day one day. It's totally different. That's what I was going to ask you. With that subdued atmosphere, did that play a big part in that as well? Because when you're in fights and you're in a bit of trouble or things are not quite going your way and you can hear the crowd get behind you, whatever, it can give you that boost and give you that lift. And it affected some fighters differently to others.
Yes.
Did you feel that played a part in that as well?
100%. Even with when I fought Kovalev, the whole arena was against me. But I still even drew something from that.
So you get through this fight, so you have this fight, and you lose to Lyndon Arthur, but then we move on, let's move on to the return.
Yes.
We see the real you in the return there, and you put in an unbelievable performance to show that you're ready for this Beterbiev fight.
I said, you know what, in the whole build-up for that fight, as soon as that fight finished and I analysed what happened, I was just so angry. Because I said, this guy is not on my level. And it's like, when you're in that kind of situation, there's nothing that feels worse. And then again, I've gone through all that family trauma, and now I've got to deal with the fact that I've just lost to someone I know is not as good as me. And then again, it's not like I've lost, he's beating me up. It's one of them fights where it's so boring, and it's just perception. Because a lot of people said I won the fight. A lot of people saying, oh yeah, but he jabbed you. So it's one of them things. I could have put on the gas at any time.
Yeah.
When I'm watching it, even when I'm in there, I'm thinking, oh, I'm coasting.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna risk no injuries. The next fight's probably gonna be a world title fight. I'm coasting. It's easy. When I look back, I was thinking, what was I doing?
But your head was all over the place though with what was going on in the lockdown and stuff, and that shows you that the mental side of the sport. It is everything. It's not all about the physical side. People see the physical side, and I think for me that's like 20% of your performance. The mental bit, when you get in those later rounds, mate, and there's like me versus you, and we're both tired, how does one go on and push on and the other doesn't? Because he just bites down his gumshoe, that uses that mental side of things, and that plays a big part. I think that's what you've learnt as a fighter as well over these tough times in lockdown. The Kovalev fight that we go back to, it's taken you on a mad journey, but you've seen or grown as a fighter.
Do you know what I've taken away from everything? Like, the thing I've taken away the most is focus on yourself. Do things your way, because if you're trying to live someone else's life, you're not going to be happy. That's just me being 100% real. You can only imagine how much people come to me and tell me, do this, you should do that. everyone's got different opinions. Everyone says, I love what you're doing. Some people say, you need to do this instead. I say, but I'm in a position that's better than I was before, than when I started. From when I was having guns pulled out of me and knives pulled out of me, I'm in a way better position now. Some of the guys that are pulling out knives on me see me now and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, Anthony Yarde. It's different. So I can only take positives from that.
Do you feed off being the underdog?
100%.
You know, I asked that question because that's what champions do. That's a champion's mindset.
Yeah.
Because at some point in everyone's career, they're the underdog.
Yes.
You know, before they become the champion, they're the underdog. And the ones that become champions are the ones that feed off that and go, oh yeah, well, we'll see about that. Because like, you know going into this one, not a lot of people will give you a chance.
100%.
Because they'll go, Beterbiev, whoa, you've only got to mention the name, guy's a monster, he's knocking everyone out, look what he done to Joe Smith. But you're gonna rip that script up.
Rip it up, put it in the shredder and then burn it.
Check this out. Check this out. He has got his own smoothie. It's called the Stephen Yarde. Now you're thinking, why Stephen Yarde? Why not Anthony Yarde? Well, Stephen owns the gym. They both got. Wow.
The AY smoothie.
Right. There's a lot riding on this, by the way, because he's been bigging this up, you know. This is a big moment for me.
Well, let me see what you think. Yeah, I saw 5 goats.
That's nice, you know. That's the Stephen Yarde smoothie.
Come on.
Where is it? What is this place? What's it called?
Pasha Caf, Ilford.
Pasha Caf in Ilford. Wow. Serious.
Good stuff, innit? Spicy, innit?
It's actually got a kick.
Yeah.
It's got a kick in it. Woo. Everything he does is either offense, defense, or defense, offense.
A lot of people say they want to be great. A lot of people say they want to be great. You cannot be great without being put in great situations.
So we're just got in the gym. Anthony Yarde's now just going through his warm-up process, and he does the pads with Tundi, but it's not your conventional work that they do on the pads here. So normally it's 3 minutes of each round with a minute break. They don't. They continue going, but it's working on offense and defense. He finishes on defense all the time. You watch this sort of like he's throwing his shots and he finishes on the blocks, throws his shots, finishes on the blocks. But they work different sort of routines, different sort of like to any sort of conventional pad work. It's quite interesting. You're combining offense and defense, or whether it's defense, offense, offense, defense, you combine them all together all the time. All the time. You know, like a lot of fighters work like either just offense or they work defense, but they don't press them together.
Yes.
I notice you do a lot of that.
I feel at world level, you can't be a one-trick pony. If you look at all the top guys, specifically the one who we're fighting, Beterbiev, he's an all-rounder. People, same like Anthony, people think he's just a one-trick pony, go in there, crash, bang a wallet. But it's not. You have to be able to do everything. And I feel like at this level, you have to cover all areas.
Sure. So this sort of routine, it's not weeks you learn this is years of repetition. It's stuff that's not taught in days or weeks. This is taught in years. We're seeing him go through a number of different things here. We've seen him working defensively in the early parts. Now he's working on the inside work, which moulds the complete fighter, if I'm honest, because he's learning it. You know, he's showing us a little bit of everything. He works on the outside, he's working on the defence, and he's working on his short game as well.
People already know Anthony hits hard.
Oh yeah?
But they have no idea until you get punched. When you get punched, your body feels that reverberation. You're asking yourself, why the hell am I actually doing this? But, you know what I mean, that's part of what we are. Lions in the camp all day, every day. We don't get weak, we get turn up sharp.
As I said before, you know, you get every fighter really works 3 minute rounds with the minute breathers, and we've been here now for the best part of 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, and we haven't seen Anthony stop yet. He's just been going through everything. We saw him offense, defense, working the body shots, working on the inside. Now he's working on loading up with the shots with Sunday as well. So he's sort of going through all different situations that can happen in a fight, which is important. Beterbiev, who's regarded as the monster of world boxing, not even that division, world boxing. You know, 18-0, 18 KOs, and he's put people like Alexander Usyk on the floor, body shots. The guy's, you know, he's the most feared fighter in the world, so you have to prepare for that.
I mean, look, A lot of people say they want to be great. A lot of people say they want to be great. You cannot be great without being put in great situations. Situations like Joshua last week, aiming to become a 3-time heavyweight champion. Anthony Yarde didn't go to the Olympics. He doesn't have that background, but yet he made it to the top of the mountain in the embryonic stage of his career. So I feel that now we're definitely prepared, definitely experienced. We have that. I remember you talk about the monster. Kovalev was a monster.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're not shy. I always say, and water finds its own level. So we're here for a reason.
Yeah.
Now, it's just time to step up.
Work. That's what it's time to
work.
Time to work. Let's go.
Okay. There you go. Where's you? Yeah. Right.
Right, and you let us in a day in the training camp of Anthony Yarde. We've seen a little bit of it. We've been over to the calf. We've had the smoothies. We've seen the workout. That's repetitive work. That's not like the normal sort of workout from a conventional boxer. You do things slightly different.
That's what I try to do. I try to do things the same, but with a little twist. I feel like to be different, you need to do different. I just try to work on all aspects and try not to waste no time.
I mean, talk to us a little bit about your recovery, because you're quite big on recovery time and stuff as well, aren't you? After training sessions, what do you do? What sort of stuff do you do to recover?
Well, like right now, I want to go and go to the fitness gym and just do like a nice, steady, slow workout. So that'll probably be like an hour and a half. Because again, when you're in here, you do like a lot of explosive things. Because I'm going to go again the next day, I try not to leave my session tensed. So again, I might go there, I might go swimming, I might go sauna. I started doing the ice bath thing recently as well.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Yeah.
It's painful.
How is that?
You know what? It's about tolerance. You build up your tolerance bit by bit. I started it not because of recovery, but I started it because I'm like, I want to challenge myself. I don't like the cold, so I want to do it. And one of my friends used to do it. So he said, you can't do it longer than me. So I said, all right. So we was in there for ages. But yeah, I just like to do little things.
Do you know what? That's all about mental strength, though. That recovery stuff is all about mental strength, isn't it? And that plays a massive part in boxing. You know, when you get to those penultimate rounds, 10, 11, 12, when you've got to bite down on your gum shield, then it becomes a psychological battle, not a physical one. So that must help you with that side of it as well.
Exactly. You see what it says behind me? It says Lions in the camp. And some people see it as like he's being tacky, he's being cliche. But when I say Lions in the camp here, Lions have no choice. And I try to give myself that similar kind of reality. I've got no choice but to go to the gym.
Sure.
If I want to eat, I have to go and hunt. Do you get what I'm saying? I know it sounds, but it's like when you gain that mentality, same thing with my fight, when I shouldn't have been in the ring, but my mentality is, you got to work. You got this opportunity. There's people that want the opportunity you got that can't do it. So why are you not going to go and, thank God by going to the gym and working hard?
I wanted to ask you a little bit, actually. When we've come in here, I've got a picture on the wall there, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather's been on the telly the whole time we're in there. Was that something that inspired you as a fighter? Because you do a lot of shoulder rolls, a lot of defensive stuff. Does Floyd play a big part in what you do? Do you take anything from him?
Most definitely. They say whoever's the best out there, imitate. Floyd done a big speech at the end of his career. He watched Chavez, he watched all these guys, before him, Pernell, Whitaker, all these guys, and he put them into a box and he came up with Floyd Mayweather. I've done the exact same thing. I watched Manny Pacquiao, I watched Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones Jr., Chavez, a guy I used to love. Who I really like as well from England, Carl Froch. Carl Froch, he had that mentality,
Like old school, like a throwback fighter.
Throwback. He wasn't he said it himself, he wasn't the best technically, but he had this thing. Once he got in trouble, whether it's forearms, whether it's fists, he will bulldoze around.
Do you know what it is with a fighter is that a fighter has to take himself to a place that the normal human being would not go.
Yes.
Like when you get down in those trenches, like round 9, 10, 11, 12, that's not do you know what I'm saying? The power of the mind is such a powerful thing, and it plays that part. Froch had that, where when he got knocked down off George Gross, round 1, I've never seen a geezer go down. He was asleep before he hit the floor. He rose, and when he went back to the corner, he walked back on his heels. And guess what? The beginning of round 2, he walked back out on his heels. He was still gone, and he turned that around. That's a champion's mindset. That's it. You got to take all that, and if you look at all those, and you're looking at the skill set of Mayweather, the heart of Froch, the heart of Froch. You take all of that, you go, you make the perfect fighter.
That's it. It's about pinching things from each person and what goes into what suits you as well. Like me, I love Mike Tyson. How Mike Tyson started his career. Tyson's even the reason I got into boxing. My thing was I was fascinated with how a small guy was knocking out giants. And this is before I knew anything about weight classes. This is before I knew anything. All I saw was a small guy knocking out big guys. And I said, this guy, he's built different. And then I started to look into his story, him and Customato. And I loved that unity.
Sure.
Like, even the way he talks about Customato is like, that was his idol. The way he talks about Muhammad Ali, these are people that changed his life. I watched the interview when he was with Sugar Ray Leonard and he started crying, talking about the art of war, the art of fighting and what Sugar Ray Leonard done for him. Just watching him. When Tyson said he was in jail and he watched him and he says, you changed my life. Like, you don't understand what you did for me.
I think all great fighters, they're inspired by other fighters, and you look at the history of the sport and you go back there. You've obviously done that with him. And what I've learned today about being here with you is, like, because I've always followed your career right from the beginning. I was there before you even started boxing. But I think for me, it was what I've taken from today is that your mindset, like, because we've got inside your head a little bit today, and we see what makes you tick, what you do is, and that self-belief that you've got. And I think you need that going into these fights now. We've done the Kovalev thing. Like, you've got that. That was your coming of age fight for me. That's where you materialised as a fighter. I think that it's only a matter of time before you go and win that world title.
Exactly.
And let's hope that's the next fight that you're in against Beterbiev, mate. But it's been a pleasure letting us into the camp. Thanks so much, and that's been wicked, mate.
Thank you.
Wicked. Well, that was a day in training camp with Anthony Yarde, and I think that one thing I can take from today is I always know he had the physical side there. I always know he had the boxing ability in the locker. But what I didn't know about was the mindset, whether he had that mindset of a champion, and I think that's what I've taken away from today is that Anthony Yarde will become light heavyweight champion of the world, I'm sure of that. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and do not forget to hit the notification bell, because In Camp With episode 3 is coming soon.